Hello everyone, George here, and we're back with my implementation of Five Nights at Freddy's inside of Unity. In this video, we're picking up from the last several videos. In the last video, we finished up with creating all of our delegates and events. However, we only finished up a few of our check controller events here, which is where we check to see whether or not that particular event occurred. And if it did, we then call the event, which would then basically broadcast to everyone else who subscribed to it that this particular event happened. All right, so we did the menu left and the menu right in the last one. So let's go ahead and scroll up and see where that ended and where we're going to begin. So here's on button menu left, right. Next up, we need to do the on button left trackpads, the left and right trackpads. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab them really quick. Whoops. Copy that, bring it on down here so I can just remember kind of what I'm doing. And actually, you know what I'm going to need to do is keep this open and at the same time look at my input so I know what my inputs are. So edit, project settings, input, here they are. And we are dealing with, we did the menus, so let's go past them. And track press and the touch probably. We're just going to go ahead and copy what we already have since everything is pretty much in sets of 3 for the down, up, and just whatever state the key happens to currently be in. I'm going to paste that here. For this, we're going to say not menu, but we are going to do trackpad press, and this one's going to be left. All right, so input.getKey down, code.joystick button 0. For this one, it's joystick button 8, which is what we're dealing with. So put them in, right? Yes. And on button, and we need to change these names to on button down right menu to, this is why, whoops. Normally that's why I bring it down. Let's go to on button menu trackpad. There we are. Bring that down here just so I know what I'm dealing with. And on button right menu. So what we need to do is make the rights lefts. And instead of menu, let's put in trackpad. On button down left trackpad. Let's just do this. On button left. That one's going to be that, and this one's going to be on button up. There we are, and now we need to call the right functionality, which is this, this, and this. There we are. Now we'll copy that again, and we'll do the same thing for the right one. Right. So for the right one, Archon trackpad press, we are dealing with joystick button 9, 9, 9, and 9. Great. Save. So let's change all these lefts to rights. And you, la 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 la, you, and you. Great. So up next, let's close those two. We're dealing with the touch now for the trackpad instead. So let's just grab that name right there to make our life easier. Come on back down. I'm going to put that right there. Whoops. Just put some slashes in front of it. Let's see. And let's grab the left. Put that there. And begin changing stuff. So on button left trackpad touch. And for now, let's just do you, and you. And this is button 16. Change that. 16, 16, and 16. So now on button left trackpad touch. This needs to be on button down. This needs to be down. This should be up and up. Perfect. Now we do the same thing for right again. Once again, you can kind of see what I'm doing here. It's very slow and tedious. Feel free to skip ahead if you get the gist of it or do it in your own time. It's up to you. The next one is button 17. So let's do 7, 7, and 7. Save. On button down left trackpad does not equal null. On button left trackpad touch. All right, so let's just change them to rights. R-I-G-H-T. Bam, 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 and bam. Okay, so that is the trackpad touch. Minimize those two, and let's open up the next one. So we have trigger touches next. So trackpad, left trigger and right trigger. Great. And then it looks like there's only one left after that, so we're almost done with setting up our, our methods. Control V, enter. Great. So that being said, let's go back up to copy and paste some stuff. Let's grab the lefts first. Copy, paste, and that's the name. So what we're going to want is on for us. So on button left trigger, copy and paste, 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 paste. And the joystick button is, let's see, 14. So this should be on button down. This should be, just copy that. This should be up. And this one should just be what it is. Copy that, paste it, and do right. You know what? Does find replace do just selections? Edit. This is going to take longer than me doing it, but I'm kind of interested in finding out. Replace. Cool, it does. So if I just do what? Left with right. Bam, bam. Wait. Place all. Okay. And there we are. And the 14s become what? 15s. So once I learn the hotkey for that, I'll be faster, but for right now, that was probably more of a waste of my time. Moving along, we've just done the triggers. Lastly, we have and it looks like that's all we need for our implementation of these events and handling actually getting them. Now, the next thing we need to do is we're getting these events, but we haven't actually set up anything with finding our controllers and making sure that they're continually connected to our system. If you've experienced the Vive at all, you'll know that you can lose connectivity to the controllers at any point, and you need to be dealing with that loss of connectivity. So let's make a method that'll actually continually pull for that information in our update and make sure that we have connections to them. So let's just do a protected void check controller connections. There we are. So the first thing we need to do is query Unity, or the input part of Unity, for all the different joysticks that are actually attached to our system. So let's do a string, and let's do joysticks is equal to input dot get joystick names. That's going to return an array of all the different joysticks that we currently have attached to us. And after that, what we want to do is check to see whether or not the right and the left controller are actually connected. So let's create two bool values that we can use to basically store whether or not we're actually holding on to this thing being connected. That way, anyone else out there, for some reason, if they want to know whether or not the controllers are connected, they can. So for right now, let's just do a public static bool right Vive controller. Actually, just do con connected false, and public static bool left Vive con connected is equal to false. There we go. Grab one of them, come on back down, and inside of here, set it equal to false. Set this one equal to false as well, and rename it in just a second. So left. And now we're going to check to see whether or not we actually have this thing. So for each, I'm going to do a for each loop, and we're going to say var joystick, because I can't remember what type the joystick actually is without looking at the documentation, in the array joysticks. So now we're going to iterate over each of the elements inside of the string array. So let's just do a for each loop, and inside of there, let's just do string joystick in joysticks. There we are. And we're going to do a check if joystick is going to be equal to, or is equivalent to, well, these are strings, so I should probably do is equal, equals, and we'll do, now we need the name of what this controller actually is. We're going to need the documentation to make that actually work. So coming back over here, we're going to need to find out what these actually are called. So here under the documentations for input, you'll notice that what we want to use as strings are OpenVR controller -left and OpenVR controller -right. So let's go ahead and put them in. So if joystick.equals OpenVR controller -left, and then we'll do the same thing if the joystick dot equals OpenVR controller -right. All you want to do in this case is set these equal to true. This is just letting everything else out there know, if they want to, that we still have connectivity to these controllers. If for some reason we want to continually know whether or not the controller is or isn't still connected. Now the last thing I'm going to want to do is just create a buttload of methods that I can directly query the state of things with. So I can just use this Vive input class instead of doing input.getButtonDown. Whatever the heck it is. I'll just do that in this class to make things a little bit simpler for me to work with in the future. So we've got check controller. Let's minimize a few of these. There we go. There's updates. Let's do this right here. Once again, this is the kind of thing where once you see me do a couple of them, you'll figure it out and you'll probably want to move along or do it on your own. So let's start with a public bool. And we want to do a get button down, a get button up, and a get button. So let's do get button down right trackpad. And inside of that, we are going to do a return input dot get button down. And we are going to use the name of that particular trackpad. So in this case, the get button down right trackpad is going to be equal to, let's see, we have press and we have touch. So what I probably want to do is get button down, right trackpad press is what I want this to be called. And the name of this is Archon trackpad press. Okay. Going to do the same thing 3 more times for up. Let's do this. So get button up, UP, and just get button. And then Archon trackpad, get button up, and just get button. Once again, I'm just doing this so that I don't have to have, you could create string values for each one of these if you want to. I'm just doing this because everything is just consolidated with one class. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to deal with the input stuff. It's all Vive input in this case. And if anything ever changes with this, it's going to be changed in here, and I don't have to worry about it anywhere else. Now that we've done that, we're going to grab these 3 and we're going to paste them again, and we're going to change these from right to left. And left and left. And this should be an L, L, and L. Great. Now before I move on to the next one thing I've noticed is I used presses here, I used presses over here, but when I actually started writing things down, I didn't use presses in here. So I want to change that really quick. So let's see, on button right menu, on button left trackpad. This should be press, and this should be touch. So let's rename this. Press, 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 whoops, press and press. Great. And we're going to need to scroll down and find out where I screwed that up, and these arrows should indicate to me exactly where that is. And all I need to do now is do this. There we are. Perfect. Save, and we're done there. All right, so scrolling back up on this very long document. It's long, but it's going to be good. It's going to give us all the stuff we need to work with later on. So we've done trackpad press. Next up, why don't we work with, what's up next? I want to do buttons first because they're easy. Let's do the menu ones, and actually let's follow suit with kind of what I'm doing over here. So let's do, what is this? Menu press. We're going to want to do a public bool, get button down, what do I call that? Menu button, or menu, I guess is what I want, just menu. Yeah. Since button's already in there. Get button down, menu, and we're just going to do a return input.get button down, and inside of there, oh, get button down, get left. No, wait, what am I doing? Get button down, left menu is what I want. There we are. So then input.get button down, and what we want for that is, minimize this stuff a little bit here, and we're doing the menus, so you two come out. And it is going to be lcon menu button. Lcon menu button. There we go. Copy this a few times. That's down, up, and the other one. So let's do that. So up. UP, there we are, and menu, and there we are. Grab these, actually, let's just grab one and copy and paste the fixed one. So you copy, paste, get button down menu, get button down, wait, did I seriously screw that up? Left needs to be in these. Get button down, get button up, left menu, get button left menu, there we go. Get button down right menu, and that's going to be rcon menu button. Copy and paste this a few times. So get button down, right menu, get button up, and then just get button. R, all good there. Okay, so we did the lcon, we did the menus, the trackpad. Now we need to do the touches for that as well. So this is going to be really easy. We can take all of our trackpad presses and copy them, and just change the press to the touch. So let's do trackpad touch. So anywhere there's a press, we'll change to touch. So grab all of them, edit, what is it, Control H is the hotkey, I think? Control H, so we want to change, what is it? Press to touch. And let's do, what is it? Replace all, great. And they work, perfect. So that's done. Coming back over to Unity, go away, and these called the same thing. Lcon trackpad touch, rcon trackpad press. This needs to be an R. So something got screwed up there. I'm guessing the buttons are different. Yes, L and R. So then lcon trigger touch. That's still a button, so we can deal with that. So the triggers are next. Once again, why don't we just grab all of this, use it to our advantage so we have less typing to do. And this should be trigger touch. Get button down. These are all rights. These are lefts. I think I've been doing it the opposite in terms of convention, right? So let's move them to the top. Just trying to keep things tidy. Same thing here too. These should be moved up. Okay, apparently how much did I do right at top and okay, some of them I did, some of them I did the other way. Whatever. Just fix that. I don't know why I'm doing lefts, but I am. Okay. So, what is it? Lcon trigger touch. So instead of this left, this should be trigger. And actually anywhere it says trackpad should just be trigger. So let's just grab all of this. edit, what is it, Control H. So trackpad becomes trigger. So that's all of that. Let's just go ahead and say, yes, please, all of the above, okay. And I wanna make sure the name is correct. So LCon trigger touch, LCon trigger touch, RCon trigger touch. We're all good there, so perfect. That's done, so the triggers are done. Make those small, bring up the big ones next. What are we dealing with here? So it looks like we're finally dealing with axes. So now we're going to be returning floating point values between 0 to 1, or in some cases, I think they're like -1 to 1. Okay, so let's do public float get left trackpad horizontal. And we want to do the same thing, but we want to do vertical. Great. And we're going to return our input.getAxis. And we're going to use the names that we have over here. So LCon trackpad hors, LCon trackpad hors. And grab that whole line actually. Paste this here and paste vert. Great. Grab this and paste this here. Right and right. And change this. And we've got that one done. So we can minimize that and bring up the next. Wait. So that one's done and that one's done as well. So next up we're dealing with LCon trigger squeeze. All right, so public float get left trigger squeeze. And we're going to do the same thing as before. Return input dot get axis. And for these, we want to do LCon trigger squeeze. LCon trigger squeeze. And we need to do that for the right side as well. Right and R. Save. Those two are done. Next up is grip. Let's just copy these, paste them again, and get left grip. Actually, it's grip squeeze. And get right grip squeeze. And our name is LCon grip. And RCon grip. And I think that's actually it. So good for us. Just double checking over here really quick, seeing if we missed anything. Grips, triggers, squeezes, touches, buttons are there, axes are there. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 of these. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 of those. Yes, that's perfect. All right. So with that, I'm going to end this video. In the next video, we're going to jump into creating just a simple immediate GUI that will be testing these buttons for us just to make sure everything works. And then we'll hopefully jump back into some real FNAF stuff now that we finally implemented our own version of all the functionality we need to work with OpenVR. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you all next time. So long. Bye.